Audrey Hepburn, a remarkable figure among the esteemed ladies of Hollywood, possessed a unique blend of vulnerability, effortless humor, and exquisite elegance. Despite her delicate appearance, she never succumbed to pressure, displaying remarkable resilience. Even hardened politicians were impressed by her unwavering commitment and dedication when she transitioned into a role as a children's ambassador for UNICEF after retiring from acting. Her pursuit of this international diplomatic vocation was a natural progression, combining her life experiences and her successful acting career. The influence of her appearance and style reverberates to this day, shaping the slender fashion motto aesthetic that remains popular. Born on the 4th of May, 1929, as Audrey Kathleen Rustin in Brussels, her lineage comprised Dutch and Anglo-Irish parents. Her mother held the title of Baroness, while her father worked as a banker. Following the end of World War II, Audrey's father discovered documents revealing ancestral ties to the Hepburn name. Consequently, he appended Hepburn to his surname, leading his daughter to do the same. Thus, Audrey Kathleen became Audrey Kathleen Hepburn Rustin. Her surname was already famous in movies, but she has no relation to her namesake, Katharine Hepburn. Despite her Belgian birthplace, Audrey held British citizenship and received her education in England during her formative years. Growing up, she was exposed to two languages, becoming fluent in both English and Dutch. Her linguistic prowess extended further as she mastered Spanish, French, and Italian. In 1935, Audrey Hepburn's parents separated, and as war loomed on the horizon in 1939, her mother decided to relocate Audrey and her two half-brothers to Arnhem in the Netherlands, believing it to be a haven from the potential German attacks. The following 6 years of Audrey's life, including 5 years under German occupation, were spent diligently training in ballet at the Arnhem Conservatory. It is said that her experiences during the occupation were so profound that she declined a role in the film adaptation of The Diary of Anne Frank in 1959, as it would have resurfaced painful memories. There is a prevailing belief that Audrey's later struggles with anorexia stemmed from the malnutrition she endured during the war, with accounts suggesting she resorted to eating tulip bulbs for sustenance. The tragic circumstances and deprivations she witnessed during the war heavily influenced her decision to work for United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund later in life. During that time, she also clandestinely performed ballet to support the Dutch resistance. Following the war, Audrey made her appearance in an educational film called Dutch in 7 Lessons in 1948, before venturing to London to study with the Marie Rambert Ballet Company. It was during this period that she decided to adopt the name Audrey Hepburn. To sustain herself financially, she took up part-time modeling work, but as opportunities were scarce, she enrolled as an actress with British film studios, hoping to secure roles as an extra. In 1951, Audrey Hepburn made her initial foray into the world of movies, portraying a hotel receptionist in the British film One Wild Oat. That same year, she took on various minor roles in films such as Young Wives' Tale, Lather in Paradise, The Lavender Hill Mob, and Monte Carlo Baby. Although these parts were small, they garnered attention, leading to her being selected for the lead role in the American production of Gigi. This opportunity served as her breakthrough, earning her a Theatre World Award for her remarkable performance. Despite her success on Broadway in shaping the character, she declined the lead role in the film adaptation of Gigi in 1958. Subsequently, Audrey secured her first significant movie role as a ballerina in the 1952 film Secret People. However, it was her portrayal of a princess in William Wyler's Roman Holiday in 1953 that propelled her to international stardom. Filmed on location in Rome, the movie capitalized on her cosmopolitan background, incorporating stylish footage of her in various European cities, including Amsterdam. Her brief use of the Dutch language during the audition ceremony at the end of the film served as a nod to her European roots. The success of Roman Holiday not only catapulted Audrey to global fame, but also earned her the prestigious Academy Award for Best Actress at the tender age of 24. Shortly after, in 1954, she received a Tony Award for Best Actress for her exceptional work in Ondine. Her rise in prominence endeared her to a generation of female baby boomers who revered her as a role model for modern young women. Despite attempts by the Dutch, Belgian, and British press to claim her as their own, it was evident that Audrey had transcended national boundaries and become a cherished icon worldwide. Audrey Hepburn's film career, while not extensive or intense in terms of the number of major roles she played between 1953 and 1967, possessed a remarkable consistency that is rarely seen in cinema. In 1954, she delivered a captivating performance in Sabrina, a role that garnered her another Academy Award nomination. This was followed by notable appearances in films like War and Peace in 1956, Funny Face alongside Fred Astaire, and Love in the Afternoon the following year, all of which received critical acclaim. Her talents were recognized once again in 1959 when she received a nomination for her portrayal in The Nun Story. However, Audrey reached the pinnacle of her career with her portrayal of Holly Golightly, a seemingly carefree yet internally troubled New York socialite who becomes involved with a struggling writer portrayed by George Peppard in the enchanting Breakfast at Tiffany's in 1961. For this performance, she earned yet another nomination for an award. Audrey Hepburn continued her commercial success with the release of Charade in 1963, a film in which she starred alongside Cary Grant. However, the following year, she faced disappointment with Paris When It Sizzles, one of the few movies in her career that failed to meet expectations. Troubles arose during production as her co-star, William Holden, attempted to rekindle a romance with Audrey despite her being married at the time. In 1964, Audrey landed the iconic role of Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady, replacing Julie Andrews, who had originally portrayed the character on Broadway. While her singing was dubbed, she faced criticism for her portrayal of the Cockney flower girl in the early part of the film. Nevertheless, critics universally praised her acting in the latter part of the movie, particularly in the transformation of Eliza into a refined high society lady. Her remarkable talent earned her a fifth and final Oscar nomination in 1967 for her role as the terrorized blonde heroine in the thriller Wait Until Dark. Following this, Audrey chose to work in movies sporadically. In 1976, she starred opposite Sean Connery in Robin and Marian and made an appearance in the crime thriller Bloodline in 1979. What is intriguing about Audrey Hepburn's filmography is the recurrent theme of education portrayed in many of her roles. In Roman Holiday, although she initially seeks escape from her strict upbringing, Gregory Peck's character becomes her guide, educating her about the realities of the world. This trend continues in her most successful films such as Sabrina, The Children's Hour, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and My Fair Lady, where the allure of her characters is intertwined with the importance of training, effort, and proper etiquette. During the late 1960s, Hepburn gradually shifted her focus away from acting and toward international diplomacy. Her work with United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund in Africa and Latin America showcased her expertise and garnered immense respect. So much so that when she made her final return to the big screen in Steven Spielberg's Always in 1989, she portrayed the role of God. Unsurprisingly, she approached the character with her signature wit and charm. In her personal life, after a brief engagement to James Hansen in 1952, Audrey married actor Mel Ferrer in 1954. Their marriage lasted for 14 years until 1968. The following year, she married Italian psychiatrist Dr. Andrea Dotti, but they divorced in 1982 after 13 years. Audrey had a son from each marriage. Her last 9 years were spent with Robert Wolders, a Dutch actor who was the widower of film star Merle Oberon. She often referred to these years as the happiest of her life. In 1992, Audrey was diagnosed with cancer after experiencing stomach pains when on a humanitarian visit to Somalia. Audrey Hepburn died on the 20th of January, 1993, of colon cancer at her home in Tolochenaz, Vaud, Switzerland. She was 63 years old. Goodbye, and rest in peace, legendary actress Audrey Hepburn.